May I come in, ma'am?
Come in.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Sit.
Thank you.
Medha.
Yes, ma'am.
So, are you really Medha?
Ma'am, I try to be Medha.
So, what is the meaning of Medha?
Ma'am, it means buddhi, like a Medhavi Chhatra. So, that's an intellectual child.
So, tell me 5 things that proves that you are an intellectual or a Medhavi student.
Ma'am, I'll try my best. Ma'am, one is that I graduated from HBTI Kanpur in civil engineering. Then in my second attempt, I got through civil services. I'm right now posted in Indian Railway Traffic Services. And ma'am, I think usually I do well in all spheres, be it in life or academics. So I would like to think that I've lived up to my name.
Great, great. So, you are already a railway officer.
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you want to switch? You don't like railways anymore?
Ma'am, that would not be the right thing that I would say. That I absolutely love Indian Railways, but I would like to see my scope and till where I can reach. I think in railways I have a very limited scope. For example, if I want to do something for women empowerment, I have some very limited areas where I can work upon. But if I'll get into maybe an administrative or a police service, I'll be able to widen my reach and scope, ma'am.
And IRS?
Ma'am, there also I think I will work for the taxation reforms if possible. If I'll be given an opportunity, I would like to work in this field and know better about the taxation system that is present in our nation, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me, we are moving more and more towards railway privatization. How do you see it?
Ma'am, the core functions of railways are not yet privatized. What we have outsourced is basically the cleanliness aspect or the service aspect of it. Even the first train that was said to be the first private train, it was run by railway staff. It was manned by railway staff, and everything was there that belonged to the Indian Railways. The only difference was that we gave more opportunity to the customers on board by giving them more food options, giving them better services like rows that we give on the Vande Bharat Express. So these are the things that we are outsourcing, but due to the safety aspects, I think we are not yet privatizing the core aspects of railways, ma'am.
Or is it time that we should move on towards, allowing the private players to work on railways and make it world class?
Ma'am, I think in terms of the service sector, service and hospitality, we can definitely do it. Like the cleanliness part of it, we can outsource. But going by what the major nations around us, for example, UK tried privatizing its railways, but then that was not a successful experiment because the private party was never ready to work on the routes which were non-remunerative. Because they would always like to operate between, say, a Lucknow and New Delhi. But what about maybe in a Unnao or smaller places? So that's why, ma'am, it will be difficult for us due to our social obligations to privatize it as such.
Very right. So, what is the operating cost of railways?
Ma'am, the operating ratio right now, it is more than 100%. Like we invest 107 rupees to earn 100 rupees. And that is mainly because the third AC and it is the only profitable sector that we have in passenger. And even the freight is the one cross-subsidizing the passenger traffic, ma'am.
And freight is also, I think, becoming expensive. More and more people are moving towards road transport. How can we correct it?
Ma'am, in the National Rail Plan that has been recently released, our model share is 27%, and we plan to make it around 45% by 2030, the Indian Railways part. For that, we have launched Gati Shakti scheme, multimodal cargo system. We are developing places from where connectivity is through all the 3 mediums. Via port, like via sea waterways, via railways and roadways. Ma'am, I think we lack in door-to-door delivery because when we transport bulk commodities, it is difficult to give door-to-door connectivity. So that is one of the reasons we are losing it to the roadway sector, ma'am.
Any other reason?
Ma'am, this is the major reason. Apart from that, the cost is less for us. We are environmentally more sustainable. Ma'am, to some extent, red tapeism. We have very strict codes, the rules that are mentioned, and any deviation from it is heavily punished in railways, ma'am.
Okay. There are certain, opinions about given by people that we should not go for bullet trains because India is a poor country where we have so many things to deal with, and we are investing so heavily in bullet trains and high-speed trains and all of these. Should we invest there?
Ma'am, definitely we need to invest there because I think India is transitioning towards a more developed economy. We are the third highest in terms of PPP economically. So it's time we give our customers the best possible services that the Indian Railways can offer, ma'am. For example, I see that if the businessmen are able to travel faster, they'll be able to make more deals, and that will have a trickle-down effect on the economy as a whole. So I think it's time that we move towards high-speed railways because smaller distances should be covered faster. That is perhaps the need of the hour, ma'am.
Okay, very right. So before I hand over to the esteemed member, what is Hyperloop?
Ma'am, Hyperloop is a kind of a transportation system which operates in a vacuum. Because of magnetic levitation, it is able to move at a very high speed, and it can cross around 200 kmph if I'm right on that fact. And recently, the one who was making Hyperloop, they even test drove it, and they found it to be safe as well.
Is it working anywhere?
Ma'am, not yet operational. The trials were conducted and they were safe, but not yet operational anywhere, I think.
Okay, thank you. Sir.
So, basically, you are a civil engineer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, maximum, hilly areas under seismic zone 5.
Yes, sir.
Likewise, your tsunami areas
Yes, sir.
are also under threatening zone. What type of material is used in base of the building, in tsunami prone area?
So my understanding is we try to stabilize the soil that is present in the base structure. So we apply methods like grooting, I think is the word. So wherein cement is injected through a syringe kind of a material, and we try to stabilize it.
That is the secondary option. Primary option, I want only the material. What material is being used or should be used in this tsunami prone area?
So may I take a guess? So I think steel material because it will be lightweight and it will give the required strength to the whole building as a whole.
Steel will be used.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You opted sociology.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Feminist theory, what is this in sociology?
So feminist theory is a theory which vouches for equal rights of both men and women. It asks or demands equal rights to both the genders, irrespective of the biological traits that we often attach to them, perhaps the social traits that we attach to the biologies. So I think that is feminist theory at its core.
Mahila Sashaktikarana, is it?
I think, sir, it's Sabka Sashaktikarana because right now the Mahila is downtrodden, so we just use one part of it to highlight the need of it, but it is Sabka Sashaktikarana, Sabko Barabar ka hissa kind of a thing.
See, in engineering, little bit you have gone through statistics also. Very basic question. What is the difference between standard error and standard deviation?
Sir, it would be difficult to recall, sir, but there is a proper formula for standard deviation.
I know.
Sir, it's square root, sigma is equal to square root something square upon something.
That is okay.
Yes, sir.
Standard error and definition. Error
Yes,
is
sir.
because of your observation and all these things. Human error.
Yes, sir.
And standard deviation
Yes, sir.
cannot be controlled.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir. Okay, sir.
That variability exists.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
What is your core competence as on today?
So I think it will be a mix of Indian Railways and sociology and civil engineering.
And
So civil engineering and...
no, my point is 4 years in engineering,
Yes, sir.
railway hardly 1 year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And sociology
Yes, sir.
is an optional subject, maximum 1 year, 2 years. To my assessment, core competence should be still civil engineering. No.
Sir, it was a long time ago, sir. So,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Hi, Medha.
Hello, sir.
How you relate Medha with Anand?
Sir, both are interrelated. Sir, if I'm Medhavi, I'll be happy, and if I'm happy, I can be more Medhavi, sir.
Can you relate some example from your service?
Sir, there are day-to-day challenges that we have in Indian Railways. To quote one, I would say that when I joined and I went on the first day I went to the office, I saw there was no washroom for lady officers. So that could have been a big problem for me, but then with time we got one. Similarly, in the professional aspect also, sir, daily we have to arrange for assets. Sometimes there is a failure. Today also, a goods train, it could have created havoc. It moved without the loco pilot. So these are the daily challenges. So the Medha helps me to remain happy. Ki it's okay, I'll manage with time.
Good. In the railways, there are accidents. Huh?
Yes, sir.
How you differentiate between mistake and that guna?
Sir, I think with Indian Railways, a mistake can directly lead to a gunha, sir. For example, the train that ran havoc today, it could have led us to a big mishap had it collided with a passenger train. So there was no loco pilot, and the train, because of downstream slope, just moved on for 70 kilometers at a speed of 100 kmph, and this was a freight train, a loaded freight train. So had there been any other train on its path, it could have just devastated the lives that were involved. So, sir, for Indian Railways, a small mistake can lead to a big gunah, sir.
Oh, great. So tell us about this drawing Medha art. Mandala art.
Yes, sir. So, mandal art is basically drawing in concentric circles. I draw it on a very primitive kind of a level. I'm not that expert in drawing it. And it basically involves filling the concentric circles with different shapes. So, it is a Buddhist concept which highlights that nothing is permanent in life. So, so that is what I do.
Have you used it in your service to make people at peace while traveling?
Sir, I use it for myself to make myself at ease while I'm working on the job, sir.
But you don't use it in professional life?
Sir, I'll do it once I'm given that. Right now, I'm an assistant level. Once I reach the senior level, I'll try to put it on the decks also, sir.
So you write some leadership skills in your personal aspects.
Yes, sir.
How you relate it to your service, current service?
So right now we've been positioned at a very top level, and with each day I realize that we are sitting on top of a lot of people who are working under our leadership. And despite me being a newbie in the service, they come with hope in front of me to solve their problems, which sometimes becomes very difficult because they are definitely more technically expertise than I am. So, sir, these are the cases where I see that we are sitting on a very high level, sir. So it's us who are making the decision, and in a situation which happened today, it will be the people on our level who will be getting charge sheets, sir. So this is like one of the feedback loop wherein we are sitting at quite top, sir.
Thank you, Medha.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Medha. Actually, you are from HBTI, HBTU.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about HBTI.
So Harcourt Butler Technical University, it was set up in 1920. We have completed more than 100 years. Shamsher sir is the chancellor, vice chancellor there, the chancellor being Anandi Ben Patel ma'am. Sir, the university was named after Harcourt Butler, the Butler committee that we study in modern history to decide the situation between the princely states and the British. Sir, we specialize in chemical engineering. That is one of the best that we offer. Although I would not say that they offer bad civil engineering too, sir. But this is all about my university.
So now, right now, what is this Karnakar sir is doing?
So he's retired now. Yes, sir. And he was a very strict proctor there, sir. I have almost faced the brunt of it. But he was very happy when I got selected in 2019, and he gave me a personal call too, sir.
Actually, I am also from HBTI.
Okay, sir.
That's why I am just asking. Sir, you have done your BTech in civil engineering.
Yes, sir.
And you have taken your optional sociology.
Yes,
Why
sir.
not civil engineering?
Sir, first was that I wanted to go for a subject that had a limited syllabus. For civil engineering, we had some 17 books, core books that were to be read. And even the general studies subject was new for me. So I couldn't have given that much time to my civil engineering part. Sir, also I understood that I need to take a scoring subject, and sociology was a good subject which gave me good insights into how society works, and I think it will help me further in my life as well. So that's why, sir.
Okay. So recently you have heard that we have built our Ayodhya temple, government
Yes.
had built. So what kind of new technology or innovative technology has been used in this particular temple? Can you elaborate some?
Yes. So this is on account of the temple economy that we are trying to promote in Uttar Pradesh. While the foundation will be able to survive an earthquake of magnitude, I think 5 and above, the superstructure is made such that it doesn't heat up during summers and doesn't become too cold during winters. For that, stone has been utilized, which has that aspect. So the pillars and the columns, I don't remember the number, but then they also have some part in it, sir.
From civil perspective, like which kind of technology or like some technology they have used, that there is not any use of this concrete structure.
Yes, sir. So it is a stone-built structure with the deep foundations in the
They are,
substructure. Yes.
they are saying that it will remain till thousands of years.
Yes, sir.
So, like that. Okay, what do you know about red hole mining? You know?
Yes, sir. So rat hole mining was basically a manual form of mining, wherein people, by sheer use of their hands, are scraping off the materials in the mines. It was prevalent in Meghalaya, but then by an NCT order, it was banned. But the recent Sialkot, that tunnel that fell off, at the end we had to use it to evacuate our miners, sir.
Medha, tell me some innovative things. Like suppose you are a DM in a district, and there is some rural housing policy is there. So which kind of innovative methods you will use in this housing policy? Because right now we are having, for one house cost is what government is providing almost 1,20,000. But in this money we cannot make or build a full house.
Yes.
So what kind of technology you can give, like you can suggest?
So one is that we can use 3D technology, sir. So by that we can print the parts of the houses and get them together. So another is that pre-stressed concrete and all can be used, where we prefabricate the whole structure and then assemble it. So recently Amazon has been delivering homes like that, where they are packaging, so to say, the whole house and delivering it to the people. Sir, apart from that, I think sociologically also, I would like to see that the customs that people have, that doesn't get compromised while we give them houses. For example, sir, we've been told that the tribal people, they usually don't live in multi-storied buildings. So if I give them something which is multi-storied, they won't be able to comprehend with it. So these are the two aspects. One would be on the technological aspect, the other would be the sociological aspect that I would look into it and then rehabilitate people, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Medha.
Hello, ma'am.
Medha, you are from UP.
Yes, ma'am.
And nowadays, bulldozer justice is very famous in UP.
Yes,
So, do you think it is morally or legally right?
Ma'am, I think till the rule of law is upheld, when we are when the government is doing it for clearing homes which are illegal, till then it is fine. And I think the government has its own reasons to do the same. So until that happens, the rule of law is followed. I don't see a problem with it, because when new space would be created, only then new infrastructure can be upheld on that area. So, ma'am, I think,
No, but it is going beyond that, beyond clearing houses.
ma'am, I think it is based on due deliberation and due diligence, that it is done for the illegal areas that have been occupied, and that will in the long run help the people of that area itself, wherein they'll be getting good infrastructure, ma'am.
Okay, and last month when Pran Pratishtha ceremony was going on, so amidst that, lot of celebrities put up a status sharing the preamble of Indian Constitution that India must adapt its secular ethos. How do you perceive it?
Ma'am, I think that going by the Western examples, it wouldn't be wrong if we promote, say, a temple town economy, because for an area like Ayodhya, which doesn't have those many industries to offer, it would be one of the ways through which we can enhance the tourism to that place. So I would just not look at it from a religious perspective. Even the building of a mosque or a church is fine until it is becoming the center of attraction for that particular destination, ma'am. So I think it is for the interest of the people of that area. They'll have a lot to gain from that.
From the tourism sector.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you also practice this mandala art.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you just tell me when it first appeared?
Ma'am, it is a Buddhist tradition. I think the Buddhist monks, they make it via sand. And once they do it, they just drop all the sand in river. considering it as prasad for those who come on the river's way. So, ma'am, it will be difficult to give it a particular timeline because they are dismantled as and when they are formed after weeks of effort, ma'am.
So my question is when it first appeared. So you don't have any idea about it?
No, ma'am.
First appeared in Rig Veda. Please check it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, my last question to you is that you are from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam University, and he always believed that one should not dream only for personal success, but also for societal betterment. And just now you answered the Honorable Chairman that getting into administrative service will widen your scope.
Yes,
how will it help the society?
Ma'am, because once I'm able to help a particular sector do well in economic sphere, for example, if I help the women in gaining financial independence, they will be helping in turn their family members. Their kids will be better nourished, better nutrition would reach to them. There'll be better sanitation facilities in their house. These are some of the ways through which I can help them. If I'm able to get good education system in my district, then definitely the students that come out of that school, they'll be more employable. We'll have less of unemployment. And in similar ways, ma'am, it will have a domino effect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Medha,
Yes, ma'am.
can you give me a small growth plan for any of the backward districts of UP? Any 3 things you would do?
Ma'am, my focus first would be on women's financial literacy because I feel that their participation in our state is still less because they could have outperformed considering they are 50% of our population. Ma'am, second is on the education aspect. With the mass cheatings and all that we are seeing, I think that will hamper the overall development of the place and in turn the whole country. Ma'am, third, I would like to focus on the healthcare aspect, wherein I would ensure that institutional deliveries are taking place. All the non-communicable diseases that are on the rise, for example, diabetes, hypertension, somehow I'm able to find out a solution for them and I motivate people to maybe go for a run by making runways and jogways, etc. Ma'am.
But in a backward district, so runways, jogways might work in Noida, Gurgaon, but in backward districts, they are already working so hard in agricultural fields.
Like Banda.
Like Banda.
Hamirpur.
Yes.
Lalitpur.
So then maybe I'll motivate them that they should go out for a walk or at least have periodical checkups. Because ma'am, I think once a district is backward, health is the last priority that happens for people. So if I'm able to tell them that it is perhaps that should be your first priority, I'll be able to make the best potential use of the demographic dividend there, ma'am.
Right. Supposedly, there is a situation, you are posted as a DM in a district, or rather, let's take the railways example first. So, you are appointed as the leader of a particular route, and then you have to put women on the night duty. So, you have to allocate the night duty, and your staff already feels that ma'am considers men and women equal. And now you have to allocate that duty between men and women are very skeptical for doing that duty. They feel that it might not be safe or it will hamper their family life. What will you do?
Ma'am, first I'll set it as an example all by myself. I'll try to conduct tours at night wherein I go to places and see if requisite facilities are present at that place or not. We have many small stations where it is difficult to employ women at night. But I think if there is a proper restroom, if there is a proper washroom, then these women will also work really hard. The railway women that we have, they are very, very motivated and they would be ready to work in all conditions. If there is a deviation, because there are some people who don't want to work, it's not because of their gender, but that is how they usually are, then I'll maybe take penal actions against them as well. But considering that I'll be at the forefront, I'll be there to ensure that nothing happens to them in any manner, be it their security, be it the functions that are required for their benefit. Ma'am, I think they will have to serve their...
So you'll post equally?
Yes, ma'am.
And what if a woman tells you that she has a young child and she might not be able to do that duty for that specific period, especially at night?
Ma'am, if this constraint is temporary, that will be all right, because then as a society, I'll try to understand it better. If she's able to bring the child along, ma'am, we usually have crèches around in our railways department. So if she's all right with putting the child in the crèche, then that's good. If it's for a particular period, maybe while she's breastfeeding or some kind of constraint is there, I'll try to give it to her after she's done with that period, ma'am.
Very right. Social media, you might have heard about It's bringing a lot of influences on Generation Z. But what changes is it bringing to the generation which is older, the grandfather, grandmother age?
Ma'am, I think one is it is making them more aware. It is keeping them engaged. While earlier our grandfathers and grandmothers didn't have much entertainment options, but as I see my parents right now doing, because I don't have grandparents right now, so it is a big source of entertainment for them, wherein they know most of the things before I know about them, the latest trends that are going on. Apart from that, ma'am, it helps in security aspect as well. For example, if somebody is in any form of distress, they can just do a video call or an Instagram live, and they can just showcase the person who is harassing them. So I think it is a good thing for our elderly population, ma'am.
What is this machine learning?
Ma'am, when machine starts to learn like a human using artificial intelligence, it is machine learning, ma'am. We give it different types of situations. We give input it different logics, like fuzzy logic is used and all. With it, we try to emulate the real life situations and then see how the machine responds.
So, do you think that singularity is possible?
Ma'am, I'll have to read more on it.
Okay. Will AI take away the jobs?
Ma'am, I think it will change the nature of jobs that were present. Earlier, we used to have telephone booths which were working all around the cities, but now we don't have them because of the telecom revolution. So I think AI will just change the nature of job. We'll have to skill our population in that direction, wherein they can use AI well, wherein they can identify the dangers posed by deepfakes, by, for example, a hologram on that video or the information that is created. But ma'am, it won't take away the job, it will just change the nature of it.
There is this UCC debate that always erupts once in a while.
Yes, ma'am.
Uniform Civil Code. So, if you are given the power, then will you apply it, and why? And if not, then why not?
Ma'am, I will take a stand for UCC because I think it does gender justice. But then there will be certain caveats that I'll have to look about for. For example, if I take the customs which are prevalent for the majority of the community, that might lead to concerns within the minority community. So I'll ensure that we hold a discussion, we hold deliberations through which we are able to come at one solution where almost everybody agrees to the basic points of that UCC. I'll try to create awareness about the importance that UCC holds, for example, in inheritance rights, with women's rights accommodated into it. And once I think that enough deliberation has been done and people are ready for the change, I would like to implement it, ma'am.
But if you have just, one day chief minister kind of situation, or one day PM type of a situation where you have to implement it now or never, there is no time of deliberation.
Ma'am, then I'll abstain myself from doing it because I think such changes need to be done in a calibrated way, and any knee-jerk reaction taken by me can have an impact on the society. Because even I am a human person, I can make errors. What if I make a policy which is not right? So first I would like to deliberate and see the pros and cons. There can be unintended consequences of my decisions, ma'am. So I'll be careful.
Very right. What do you do when you are angry?
Ma'am, I drink a glass of water and I call my father because he's the one who can really soothe me down. And once in a while when he doesn't pick up, I go for mandala art. So.
Okay. And so recently a lot of wars are going on in international affairs, Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine. Do you think there is a possibility that India's neighborhood might also become provoked, and the kind of impunity that is going on with the wars can be very detrimental to us?
Ma'am, I think because of our wisdom, we will not escalate anything into a war scenario. We might take heavy steps against our neighbors, considering whatever they're doing at times. We can be provocative on the borders, but a full-fledged war I don't see in the future. And that is probably because the leadership that we have, be it in terms of the bureaucrats that we have, they would not like it for the economy, for India to go at war with any of the nations. We'll try to have deliberations and solve it first. And if push comes to shove, then maybe we'll take some extreme measures. Unless that happens, ma'am, I don't see a war happening for India.
Okay, what is the GDP of Uttar Pradesh?
Ma'am, it's an 11% of our GDP, in national GDP, GSDP of Uttar Pradesh, ma'am.
Exact number?
Ma'am, I'll have to read on the
Okay, sex ratio of India?
Ma'am, it is 1027, I think, as per the NFHS.
1027
ma'am.
sex ratio.
Yes, ma'am. I think it is more than 1000 now with the recent data that I've read.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
child sex ratio.
Ma'am, I'll have to read on it.
Unemployment.
Ma'am, it's around 5%.
Okay. How much NPA do we have currently?
Ma'am, it's around 11%. And it will reduce, I think, to 7 and 8% very soon, if I'm able to recall the right numbers.
Labor force participation of women?
Ma'am, it's 37%.
37%. Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am. It's the recent data that I read, ma'am. 37%.
And what if there is there some data, the IMF chief once said that this much number will increase in our economy?
Yes,
in
ma'am,
our
27%. GDP will increase by 27% if women's participation becomes equal to men's participation.
Very right. How do you evaluate a political party?
Ma'am, by seeing how much it has done based on the manifesto that it gives, how many ticks have occurred, which they promised before elections and once they come to power. Apart from that, ma'am, the economy would be one of the things which can be seen. If a political party is able to give us good economy, it will definitely lead to better.
What about the dynastic politics? So if there are two choices, the democracy within a political party and a political party which is operating in a dynasty, and the one with the democratic ethos is not able to give you the proper economy or the kind of development, but the dynasty is. Which one will you choose?
Ma'am, I think I'll choose the democratic one because in democracy, we can always change the leaders if they're not working as per our wishes. And if there is intra-party democracy, that will help us better. We'll be able to elect leaders which we think are appropriate for us. But ma'am, in a dynastic kind of a system, if one ruler is against the ethos of human rights, it will lead to a big danger for the democratic system of our nation, ma'am.
You're married?
No, ma'am.
So supposedly you marry into a family and the mother-in-law or someone, they tell you that because it's the custom, you will have to do the ghungat when you go to a post-marriage ceremony. And what will you do then?
Ma'am, I'll probably first talk to my husband and explain it to him that, see, you are the person I got married to and this was not at all in our terms of reference. So,
Terms of reference?
So, ma'am, I'll try not to do it because I think it has a lot of effect on the other people that are watching. If I give in to the customs which are not logically sane as per me, I might be wrong there, but then this is something which I hold very dearly. So I'll have to refrain from doing it. Maybe I'll not attend the ceremony if that's.
No, you are the host.
Ma'am, I'll try not to be there than to put on a ghungat, ma'am, because I think that is something which I hold very dearly. I've seen my parents, my mother, she has been so to say a feminist always, my father too. So I won't be able to do that, ma'am. That will be totally against my ethics.
My last question to you.
Yes,
who do you look up to?
Ma'am, at an individual level, I look up to my mother when I have to take quick decisions. When I have to think and deliberate, I look up to my father. And in professional life, ma'am, I would say that Sudha Murthy is I think she's done incredibly well for the women of our country. From a situation where she didn't have toilets in college, she had to wear a sari to get educated. And she brove it all and came to this point. I think she's definitely an idol to cherish, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Medha.
Thank
Your
you.
interview is over. Please wait.
Thank you. May I come in, ma'am?
Come in. How are you, Medha?
I'm fine, ma'am.
Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what was your score last time?
Ma'am, once I got 193 and once I got 180.
Ah, you are already a pro. Not much is required. You are a 200 plus material.
Thank you. ma'am.
No, so don't give too much marks and everything. You are doing really fine. There are few things that I will just highlight because when you sit at this position, you have to tell something. But of course, something which is useful to you.
Yes, ma'am.
So you are very good as a communicator. Your personality is very pleasing. You have the right mindset of an officer. You can find the real crux of the question when asked. And definitely, you are able to point out things articulate them well, very nicely given interview. I don't find it, so there are very rare interviews. So earlier I was thinking of, I got late because of my kid. I was thinking I might not be able to, so I am happy that I was here in this
Thank you so
interview.
much.
So, but just the sir asked one question about standard error and standard deviation.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't enter if you are not very clear.
Sure, ma'am.
He never asked for a formula.
Yes, ma'am.
And that you don't remember actually. And you
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
have to get into that.
Yes,
You can
ma'am.
just tell superficially if you know, or you can say, "Sir, I'm not very clear right now.
Yes, ma'am.
And I will go and read about it."
Yes,
When sir explained, you said okay. Rather, it would be good if you can say, "Thank you, sir, I will read about it again."
Yes.
That shows that humility part.
True, ma'am.
You gave a very good answer to few of the very, very, tricky questions that were asked. Are you going to wear the same sari?
No, ma'am, not this one.
Try something pastel
Yes, ma'am.
and plain,
Yes, ma'am.
which goes according to your own personality,
Yes.
and wear it well. You should look very active
Yes,
when you wear it. So take help of your mother.
ma'am, she's not a pro in this.
She's not a pro.
No, ma'am, she would be the wrong person to contact for wearing the sari.
You come to me, I'll do that. No issues. For health, you faltered a little bit in the question of that backward district.
Yes, ma'am, I should have been careful. Yes, ma'am.
So you showed that urban bias.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have to understand the reality of a backward area. उनको walk पे कैसे भेजोगे भाई? है ना?
Yes,
वो
ma'am.
walk पे जाएंगे ही नहीं, वो सारा दिन walk कर रहे हैं.
Yes, ma'am.
तो उनके लिए आपको थोड़ा सा प्राइमरी हेल्थ केयर, प्राइमरी एजुकेशन, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स, है ना, स्कीम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, आपको उस डायरेक्शन में बात करनी है.
Yes, ma'am.
This question was just asked just to notice this bias only, because a well-read, well-educated, both the parents in government service generally tend to have that urban bias. है ना? So you should never display yourself as Marie Antoinette. है ना? Let them have cake. वाला वो कभी नहीं आना चाहिए. So our perspective should be absolutely clear कि गांव की प्रॉब्लम एकदम अलग है.
अलग है. True, ma'am.
तो वैसे ही सॉल्यूशंस हमारे होने चाहिए. देन घूंघट वाला जो लास्ट हमारा क्वेश्चन था, यू ऑफ कोर्स यू शुड नॉट डू द घूंघट. वेरी राइट, है ना, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट जस्ट अ रोल मॉडल फॉर योर ओन सेल्फ बट फॉर द अदर गर्ल्स दैट आर कमिंग इन टू द फैमिली. दे विल सी, दे विल ऑब्जर्व एंड दे विल फॉर्म अ व्यू अबाउट एजुकेशन एंड एवरीथिंग एल्स. वेरी राइट. बट रादर देन गोइंग स्ट्रिक्ट or going to your husband, can we think of a situation where you talk to your mother-in-law herself?
Yes, ma'am.
And try to convince her?
Convince her. Yes, ma'am.
So just as you convinced the other people for UCC, है ना? So similarly, that kind of convincing can be done here also.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that would show that, the continuity of the character. You see?
Yes, ma'am.
That has to be, that gives you 200 plus. जैसे ही वो आपका दिखता है ना, कंसिस्टेंसी इन द कैरेक्टर, दैट गिव्स यू 200 प्लस.
Yes, ma'am.
एनीथिंग एल्स यू वांट टू आस्क?
Nothing in particular, ma'am.
डू योर डेटाज,
Yes, ma'am. I'll do
है
that.
ना, कंसेप्चुअल क्वेश्चंस एंड सिचुएशन क्वेश्चन, पर्सनल क्वेश्चन यू आर रॉकिंग, बट डेटा,
Yes, ma'am.
है ना, a little bit, because at last when a person has to see कि अब चलो ये सब तो हो गया, let's just check the data thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So do your data a little bit. You have time, I think.
Yes, ma'am. It's on 13th March.
You have a lot of time. ठीक है? God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am.